Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our new ERCI webinar on rail as a backbone of multimodal logistics in Europe. And first, I will take the opportunity to say something about ERCI. And it's an honor for me first to introduce you our new member. Since the 27th of May, we have now 18 ERCI clusters being member of ERCI. The new cluster is the Portuguese railway platform. Welcome to ERCI. And we have 17 another clusters from all over Europe, starting with AC Styria from Austria, logistics in Wallonia from Belgium, 3 clusters from the United Kingdom, Rail Cluster Scotland and Rail Forum, and the BRIC, the Birmingham Research and Innovation Cluster. Then we have from Germany also 3 clusters, Cluster Bahntechnik CNA from Bavaria, Cluster Rail S from Saxony, and Cluster Transport Mobility and Logistics in the German capital region, Berlin-Brandenburg. We have from Italy DTEC Fair, we have Boit from France, we have the Southern Railway Cluster from Poland. We have the Rail Cluster for Southeast Europe based in Belgrade, responsible for the West Balkan states. We have 2 clusters from Spain in Move by Rail Group and Mafex. And we have a Swedish cluster, Railway Cluster of Sweden, Järnvägs Clustered. We have 2, and last but not least, 2 clusters from Turkey, that's the Anatolian Rail Transportation Systems Cluster and the Eskişehir Chamber of Industry with its railway system cluster. Our focus is on mainly on small, medium-sized enterprises, and we have over 2,300 SMEs, which are members of these 18 cluster organizations. Yeah, and for sure, our services also mainly focus on small, medium-sized enterprises in order to make them stronger, make them more visible in the European context, make to discover markets from outside their own country, supporting them in working together with other companies and institutions in innovation, research and development projects, and discussing with them, innovative trends which might have a big influence to the rail system of the future, like cybersecurity, multimodal logistics, green and sustainable mobility, human factors, and so on. We are, as ERCI, quite good visible with our annual ERCI Innovation Awards. We have collected all the nominations from our member clusters, and now an international jury will determine who is the best SME, who is the best large enterprise, and a second special jury prize called Coup de Coeur will be awarded too, and the awarding ceremony will take place at Innotrans on the 26th of September. And the second instrument we have for the moment to raise visibility are webinars and bilateral workshops, and this webinar is one of the opportunities. So the European Railway Meta Cluster ERCI is visible for sure also on social media and has on their webpage, and you can contact us for sure via email too. So Guido will be so kind and put all these links into the chat, and I will continue with the first presenter. It comes from Belgium, and I have simply to open the presentation because there is some additional information on the first presenter, and just yes. Just a moment. So, Novandi, Johan Gemel is from Novandi. And Novandi is an intermodal and terminal operator, and the company is family-owned. They are active in break bulk containers and intermodal rail transport as terminal operator. Johan Gimmels is the director at Novandi, but also for TCA, that is an intermodal terminal operator and small railway undertaking, uh, which is active in the container transport, and he is also responsible for automatic train operation. That means a terminal in the port of Antwerp. So, Johan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lutz. I will share my presentation. Let me see. Okay. Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen. Switch in your presentation mode, please. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me at this seminar, Lutz. So, as you said, we are a small private company. It's a family undertaking, and we're active in different sectors. We have a series of intermodal terminals. We have break bulk terminals. We have own barges, own rail wagons. We lease locomotives, and we have an own division that organizes the last mile transport by truck. We have some own trucks. Most of them are subcontracted, and we have our own customs division. So they organize all documentation for us. So just what I said now, the bit and what you already explained, in which activities we engage. Also, one of the strong points is our IT system. We connect to via EDI to most of our clients. Just a small video. It only takes 20 seconds. We're both active in the inland waterways. You can see what we do. We operate terminals. We have own ships. We have also subcontracted ships. We operate terminals. This is another terminal. On terminals are trimodal. This means we can have both rail and barges on the terminals. The terminals are equipped to receive 700-meter trains. Some of them, like this terminal, you need, unfortunately, to cut the train in two halves because the tracks are not long enough. We are located along the River Meuse or the Albert Canal or the River Scheldt. So we have different terminals. We have 5 terminals in Belgium. That is for the barge part. For the rail, we also have different rail terminals. They're trimodal, but one is dedicated for rail only. That's this terminal you can see. It is at the facilities of the airport of Liège. So with the airport, we try to find business that connects well to the Liège airport activities. In this case, we have trains to and from China, where you have the possibility to select a transport mode that is halfway between, I would say, maritime and air freight. Air freight is 2 to 3 days, maritime is 5 to 6 weeks, and rail is 2 weeks and a half between Liège and China. From Liège, we have a very good connection to Italy, to Milano region, 2 trains a day, and we try to redevelop business into Spain that we had to stop some years ago, and to redevelop the link we had into Chengdu in China. If you look at rail, because that's today's subject, we see that the rail operations for the traction part are mainly dominated by incumbent railways like SNCF, Deutsche Bahn, and other big players. There's, to my opinion, very little innovation in that sector compared to road or inland waterways. it is difficult to become a railway undertaking. It's a painful process that has been designed to protect the big incumbent railways, and it's not very easy for a small or a family undertaking to start in the railway business. And the rules and regulations that based, in fact, what they've done when they set up the European Railway Agency, they transformed the national rules of these big railways into the railways, the rules that are valid for all railway undertakings, even for the small ones. So the sector tends to be, in my opinion, over-regulated, and it gives a quite, I say, rusty impression. It is not the most, yeah. So my screen is freezing now. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, so intermodal is a growing segment, despite the fact that I think railways could be operated better. The conventional business that is stable or declining. We all know that this basic sector of the railway industry was steel and coal and all was limited to that. And for power plants, that has been reducing. Chemicals and cars pick up, but on general, the intermodal segment is growing and the conventional segment is declining. Then you still have the single wagon load, but that is trying to compete with intermodal or truckloads. That's, yeah, in my opinion, that's clinically dead. But the governments keep on subsidizing this business. I just learned a few weeks ago that in Germany, the single wagon load will get 300 million per year subsidies from the government. So if no money is being put in from the government into this small market segment, this would certainly die. And this means that all money that is spent on railways is spent on keeping all things alive and not in trying to get the railways, that is a thing from the 19th century, into the 21st century. And roads, they went from the old motors to the Euro 6 or 7. They are their motors running on hydrogen. We have battery operated trucks now. On inland waterways, you have battery operated barges, you have hydrogen barges. Nothing of this is really happening in the railway. So I think if we want to redevelop rail and to make it a valid alternative for road transport, we must do things differently than we have been doing today. The operational subsidies for all to keep old-fashioned things alive is wasted money, in my opinion. We should invest in real innovation like autonomous driving, remote control, battery-operated wagons. We also should make much simpler to become a railway undertaking, not too much administration. Language issues now make railway transport very expensive. And also, if you have, for instance, we have train drivers with the Belgian license. They can drive in Belgium, but not all over Belgium. They need to speak the language of the region they're driving through. So we have two languages, three official languages in Belgium. Depending on the region you're driving through, the driver must speak that language. If he wants to go to Holland, he needs a Dutch license. If he wants to go to Germany, he needs a German license. If he wants to go to France, you need a French license. So this is all very complicated, and these are quite artificial rules. I mean, you could solve this by having one unique language with maybe 200 or 300 words or phrases you need to know to ensure the safety. But this is all being protected by national railways, and the lobby power is so big that nothing happens at all. Also, if a small railway develops, I've seen it in Belgium, then one of the bigger players comes by and offers these small railway undertakers or the owners 10 to 20 times EBITDA. The last one I've experienced personally was 20 times EBITDA, which is an unreasonable amount of taxpayers' money finally to buy up competition. Only 2 or 3 weeks ago, Austrian Railways bought Captrain Holland. I don't know how much money they paid, but I mean, this should not be allowed, that with railways that need public money to survive, that they're allowed to buy private competition. This is absolutely incorrect. If you look at what we use today at our home, we use our smartphone to turn on the lights, to set the heating. We have a lawnmower that it's automatic. We have the vacuum cleaner that drives to the house automatically. If we look at railways today, if that's the left picture, if you have to decouple wagons, we use a wooden stick, and the big new invention is the DAC, and that will automate the coupling between wagons and have a bit more facilities. And that is about the biggest improvement we've seen so far on railways. I mean, this will take us from the 19th into the 20th century, but this won't be enough, I think, to make rail transport survive. If we look at intermodal, I mean, once you have an intermodal set, you virtually not decouple the set unless for one or the other reason you need to do so. But having expensive wagon couplings for intermodal doesn't make any sense. New developments. We should look at revolutionary developments. We say rail times is 6 times more energy efficient than road, which is true. This means that on one battery charge for a wagon, where as with the truck you can do 400 kilometers or 500, you could do 6 times more. With one battery charge on a railway wagon, we could do 2,500 kilometers. We could run from Sweden to Italy and back. Still, we don't see the autonomous wagons. The autonomous wagons could also save in the conventional sector single wagon load system. The technology is there. Platooning has been invented by the trucking sector. You can have one truck and 5 trucks following. Of course, it's not being allowed on our roads, but technically it's possible and it's safe. In some countries, they are now building prototypes of. This is prototype of a container wagon that could run autonomously. They can couple, decouple, and the coupling is without a rail coupling. They just slowly bump into each other, and you can, via the IT system, you can ask them to regroup themselves into a group of 30 wagons, so that when they go over the rail network, you only use one rail part instead of having 30 rail parts for each individual wagon. But it's all automatic, so the technology is there, it's been tested, it's safe, and still we don't not use it. If I compare rail with waterways, this is inland waterways. 5 years ago, we were the first one to install remote control on our vessels. This means we have no captain on board. We still have staff on board, but there's no captain. So the steering is done from a remote control room with the captain that's on shore. And you can see here the control business. He has cameras, he has radar on it. To navigate the ship into a lock and out of a lock, that's done by the captain. In between locks, it's autonomous navigation, because on a canal you can have somebody paddling in a canoe. I mean, it's all there. So all this can be done from a remote control. We're quite happy now that after years of testing and allowing the system in Belgium, it's now in test in Holland and on the Rhine. So it's a big step forward. And the idea is we should decrease the costs and make life more attractive for people working in our sector, because drivers need to drive at night. They need to go from their home to their locomotive, get aboard, while all this could be done also remote or autonomously, but we don't use it. So if we have to increase for the future the railway business, we need to look at more automation, less staff on board, less personnel, more safety, because if you depend on a rail driver for safety, it's less safe than a machine. Machines are more safe than staff. So it could all be better organized and could be cheaper. For barges, I've calculated then if you convert a barge to hydrogen and make it emission free, and at the same time switch from captain on board or remote controlled vessel, you would have the same price. So this means you can virtually be climate neutral and more efficient without a cost increase. I think this should be possible for railways as well. So we have to work on that one. So my conclusion is rail is reliable and we should promote it, but the sector is dominated by big railways that are incapable of adapting to new technology. And if they invent technology, it's rather old-fashioned. It's engineers that's working on it. We should have more a business-driven improvement within the railways. How can we reduce costs and how can we increase safety? We are installing the ECTS system all over Europe. The ECTS system is installed all over Europe. It allows automatic train operations, and still we don't use it. So let's go forward. Let's try to introduce automatic train operations into our sector. Let's try to do remote control operations. Let's try to get the costs down and improve efficiency. That is my idea. And then we will be able to capture the market again. And one small remark, Lutz, during my introduction, you said I'm also working for ATO. That's not automatic train operations. That's a terminal in Antwerp that's called Associated Terminal Operators. My excuses for the misunderstanding there. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask them.
Yeah, thank you, Johan. Thank you also for explanations. And sometimes I'm crazy about these all abbreviations I use in the European context. And yeah, thank you very much for your interesting presentation. For the moment, I will share my screen again, and I have one question here, which is a most general one. What is the main challenge for the intermodal sector in Europe today?
I think one of the things we should be looking at now is that if the new weights and dimensions directive is allowed, I think the sector of the intermodal business, which is the consumer goods rather than the traditional railway business, we will even face more competition in the future. We should prepare for that. At the moment, we are in a quite difficult situation with large infrastructure works that are needed. In Germany, there are infrastructure works. In Belgium, there are infrastructure works. So we will face a difficult period, but I think once these infrastructure works, they will go on for another 4 to 5 years, and some tunnels need some repair works to be done. We need to improve ourselves to be able to face the increased competition we will see from the road sector, and also the road sector will become greener in the future. We will have more battery-driven vehicles. We will have more hydrogen-driven vehicles. So I think we should step up our efforts to become more price competitive and more service competitive with the road sector, which at this point in time is quite difficult because of the infrastructure managers being forced to renew parts of their network.
So in the meanwhile, I grabbed another question from the chat. Shall infrastructure for freight and passenger be separated or more mixed for optimization? What is your
But
opinion?
the ideal would be, of course, separated infrastructure, but infrastructure is too expensive for one mode only. But I think one of the steps forward could be that passengers do not always have preference over intermodal or rail. If you have a train that is driving from Italy to Holland, for instance, and that's an international train also with the given rail path, and a small passenger train at 10 hours at night with 3 passengers on it has preference over this international train. That's to my feeling is not really correct. So if we have the mixed infrastructure, we should redefine the priority rules on the network, which are not really as they should be at, I feel.
Yeah. You mentioned a certain technologies in your presentation which are ready or which might be applied for increasing the efficiency of the freight transport on rail. What do you think are the most interesting technologies which are could be applied in the near future?
Well, the automatic train operations, I think, is the one that should be within reach as soon as the European network is equipped with ECTS all over. I think some companies like Siemens that have done the trackside equipment and have big knowledge in this area could be on forerunners in this area. But I think quite a bit of money is needed to apply this technology. So I'm not sure whether this should come from the manufacturers or the government. I have a feeling that the government should support the introduction of this new technology, as small railway operators do not have enough finance to cover this. This is only possible for larger railway operators, and they're mostly government railways, but I think you should move this away rather from the railways, but to the industry sector and there provide grants to those that can successfully develop autonomous train operations models. We see it now in shuttles at airports. They are completely autonomous. We all step into shuttles at airports that with no one on board. So underground systems are without staff. So the technology is there, but we should now try to use it for the railways. And if subsidies are needed, I think governments should have a look at that, or the European Union should have a look at that.
What about platforms for sharing goods, a good space for single wagon load?
Well, single wagon load is, I think we have to see where, if single wagon load can be replaced by intermodal, that would be the best solution, in my opinion. The old style single wagon load where you have 2 or 3 wagons pulled by a 2 million euro locomotive and grab 10 times 2 or 3 wagons to make a 30 wagon train, and all with expensive locomotives. I think that will not be viable in the future. So I think we should forget about that system. We have to invent something new. If you can then regroup trains on one platform where you would have half conventional and half intermodal, why not? I think that could work. But you have to keep in mind that when you come with half a train on an intermodal terminal, you eat one slot of that terminal because they want to use their tracks as much times per day as possible and with as long trains as possible per day. So mixing trains might not be intermodal and conventional might not be the best solution.
So there is an additional question from the chat. Based on current good use cases, do we still need additional R&D and innovation projects for multimodality?
I think multimodality could do with a better exchange of data and like the ETI of ETAs. So there are different projects ongoing, but they're all competing a bit with each other. So we should rather than new, I think we should rather try to streamline that we all move together in the same direction and we don't have 10 different ideas of how we should do this, which is a bit now the case, I feel, from time to time.
Yeah. So here is a remark from Fermet, a multi-sectoral lobby that promotes the transport of goods by rail. They think that the train must be as a partner of the road, not a competitor. Following this idea, they may have made a very big study on about the 10T corridors, concluding with a new system to handle the rail. I could recommend to read the study. The study could be found here on this link, and for sure we will provide this link with our follow-up email. And maybe Guido is ready also to put this into the chat. And,
of course, the clients of Intermodal is mainly the road sector. So yes, we should not be. I mean, the clients of Intermodal is the road sector. So if they can do with the same truck more business, these are natural allies, of course, and new systems like the Helcom system and the Nikrasa system have been developed to get regular trailers onto intermodal transport. Of course, if you look at the envelope, the gabarit, as they say, in France, it's still difficult. It's still not P400, so there are a number of technical restrictions to develop that business across Europe. But yes, it's a valid remark of Fermat. I agree with what they say.
yeah, and there's an additional proposal by Fermat, and they propose to put the semi-trailers on the train for distances for more than 300 kilometers.
Yeah, we are at the moment with the rail business, we are mainly active in the segment between 250 and 600 kilometers. So yes, it's possible to develop in the model on short distance. I agree with Fermat.
Yeah. So, seems not the case that there are additional questions. If there is an urgent one, you might raise the hand. For sure, you could continue to use the chat function for your question, and depending on the time we have at the end, we could for sure also answer questions from this presentation in the next Q&A session. But there's also the possibility that the presenter, that Johan, can type directly the answers into the chat if it is suitable. So then I will come to the second presentation, and I will hand over my speech first to Guido from DTEC Fair. Guido, are you here? Can you open the microphone, please?
Yes, thank you, Lutz, and good morning, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm very glad to be able to introduce the next speaker. The next speaker is Claudio Salvadori. He's a telecommunication engineer with a PhD in embedded system with special focus on IoT and smart camera. He's the CEO and founder of New Generation Sensors, NGS, an Italian SME that develops IoT blockchain solution for smart logistic and smart factory. And we are glad that NGS is a active member of the Italian cluster DTEC Fair. Claudio, now the floor is yours, please.
Good morning, everybody. Let me share my screen, then I will start to speak. I mean, what I'm going to introduce is something that is in the same topic of logistics, but speaking about goods. So I think we are complementing the discussion done before by Johan. So I'm going to introduce my company. We are a spin-off company of a university in Italy. We have founded in 2015, and we develop IoT solutions from the field toward the cloud, exploiting blockchain technologies. And we are active essentially in two fields: smart factory, but essentially in smart logistics. We are partner of DTEC Fair, another association to I mean I divided here in the EU level, Italy level. We are very active in cooperating with the clusters and the EU at the EU side, and we are very active also in European projects. We have here there are some examples of European projects we have participated. We are very active in the logistic part, especially in the definition and the realization of physical internet. That is the new frontier of logistics at the EU level. That is one of the objectives of 2030-35. Our solution is designed to be in line with these needs, where the most important thing regarding the logistics. So we are not speaking about transport means, but we are speaking about goods. Is to have a comprehensible, reliable end-to-end visibility in a model agnostic manner. So in this manner, we have developed a solution that is capable to support the several steps on the logistics processes and answering to these 4 questions. So what, where, when, and how. So having the complete visibility of the supply chain. How we have implemented a solution that is capable to manage identification and characterization, where characterization means weight and size of the goods, where position and monitoring. When improved granularity, so we monitor containers. So we aim at monitoring and tracking piece of iron, but in the logistics, the main point is to track and trace and monitor goods. And we present this data in a simple manner. We have an online analysis part, and we share the data in a standardized manner to enable the interoperability, thus a seamless integration with the legacy systems. These one are some buzzwords related to our solution. So it's agnostics. It enables the improved granularity. It supports the error reduction. It improves the security. It improves the optimization. It is in line with physical internet. The physical internet aims at optimizing, making green and more efficient and more accepted the logistics at the EU level, and then at the end improve the customer satisfaction, thus increasing the revenues. What does it mean, improve the granularity? We aims at tracking and tracing and monitoring the logistics units, so containers, but as well as pallet. And now we are working with a pharma company to track and trace medicine boxes. So it is a very open topic because it enables to collect added value information regarding the supply chain and how these goods are handled, especially for goods that are perishable or have a certain value in terms of money. So these one are the main. I represent what we are doing. So what we are doing is we identify goods exploiting GS1 coding. We support the consolidation, so support the creation of pallets or of containers. We characterize each logistic unit with the weight and size, and then I will explain how. We have dedicated the tracking and tracing monitoring solution. Dedicated why? Because we are focused on the logistic units, not only on the piece of iron. Okay, and then we have a GUI and interoperable API based on GS1 APCIS 2.0 that is based on the coding. We are at the moment we are developing an improvement of the solution exploiting GS1, the blockchain, and the blockchain sharing, where we can share important documents, something like ADI documents, so invoices, something like that, as well as important events or statuses regarding the evolution of the shipment. So, and then the objective is to share the data represented in a standardized manner, so exploiting GS1 as well as ADI, and this approach enables to have a trusted approach and improve the customer satisfaction and the supply chain visibility and digitalization. I'm going to speak about regarding our services, and I start as a story that once upon a time we aims to cover all the supply chain from the producer toward the consumer. And so we have to cover last mile logistics, we have to cover container groupage, operations, and container tracking and traces, urban delivery. And then one of the main issues to solve is the multimodality. Okay, improving the granularity, this one is resolved. Why? Because we have added a device that is powerful and cheap. We are developing it at the moment, but we have a backup solution for that. But the solution is able to track and trace and monitors in a dedicated manner the logistic units. And enabling this innovation, we can support the creation of logistic units, so item identification and integration of weight and size sensors to measure it. I mean, we are not developing this part. The weight and size sensor are legacy systems. We are all integrating, and then we can configure the functionalities of the sensor on top of it in order to enable the dedicated monitoring. Then we can track and trace these goods among the supply chain to arrive, for example, to the consolidation warehouses. At the moment, the solution is based on Bluetooth technologies on the logistic unit and 5G deployed in the transport mean. But in the future, what we are going to develop is a very cheap solution based on 5G that is energy independent. I can say this because we are integrating solar panel, but the most important thing regards the low consumption and the small size to be fitted inside for example, the medicine boxes. Okay. We are developing together with other partners in a project funded by European Commission a solution to integrate a rough measurement of weight and size of the logistic units during the collection with Transpallet. The idea is to have this data rough. Then, if there are problems, so if the dimension or the weight doesn't fit with the one declared by the sender, we can control with a certified tools in order, and then we can also share this information, because this one is one of the most contribution of NGS. We are developing a weight and size trusted cooperation platform where we can associate to each logistic unit identified by GS1 coding, for example, the weight and size, and compare with the one declared before. So with this platform, we can say, okay, I'm writing there the information regarding the weight and the size of these logistic units, and then I'm comparing it, and in the blockchain is stored the status. So the goods fits with the weight and size declared by the sender or not. So this one is one important contribution we are giving, and this one is very important because we are speaking about barges and we cooperate with barges. And one of the main points regards the load balancing, because I cannot. In the water I have to balance the weight on the two sides of the boat. So if you have a trusted value of weight, you can simply and more efficiently schedule the organization of the barge or of the vessel on larger scenarios like the cargo logistics. So we can do track and trace and monitoring of containers, but this one is nothing of new. And we have done a very nice experiment with DTECFair and together with the InMove by the group, so a cooperation among two cluster implementing the Cava wine train, and the sensorization of containers, and the idea is to sensorize also pallet, was to say, okay, am I done the right action to maintain the wine? That is one of the most is a complex thing to transport, because it's not a real fresh chain or cold chain, but it must be somehow handled with care in terms of bumps, also with temperature. And we have analyzed in this manner this trip from Spain to Germany. And the nice thing is that we are providing information about acceleration that could be very important, because acceleration is the base of for understanding whether the goods are handled correctly. We are speaking about of bottle of wine done with glass. So suppose that the direct acceleration is changing axis. What is happening? It means that the container or the pallet is falling down. So, and this one can detect in real time what is happening during the supply chain. So, and so taking active actions to correct it if it's possible. We have integrated the logistic unit inside that with BLE. Now we are aiming at making everything independent. So putting 5G everywhere, also in smart pallet, because 5G and new technology aims the cost reduction and the realization of small devices that can be easily sent back, implementing a very easy reverse logistics, as well as to implement service of pallet or asset reusing. So in a way of circular economy. So the asset is not disposable, but we will use it several times. Here there is an experience we have done regarding this tracking and tracing of logistic units along the Seine in France, in a European project, together with our partner that produce unmanned barges in Belgium. And this project is continuing to go ahead with another project called the Carbomile. And this project aims at monitoring what is happening along the supply chain. And here you can see what the truck we have collected doing this shipment, and in this case, monitoring bottle of water. But the idea is to monitor fluid and so on. And this one is an important instruments to provide to barges and vessel a tool to track and trace and monitor goods. And another idea we have developed together is the development of a gateway that is horizontal, that can manage different added value sensors, something like environmental, or having something that is analyzing the barge behavior, something like predictive maintenance and so on. So in this case, we can use the solution in terms of hardware and software. The hardware can retrofit the existing solution, but we can also adapt our solution for other partner and collect this data and send back through 5G toward the correct consumer of information. The other thing we are doing, we are working with the partner of DTEC Fair and to develop the smart box, so a small box, a plastic box that is at the moment disposable, but in future will be implemented, will represent a service. So with this box, we can, associating track one, the solution before, and an independent IoT device, we can use it as a service, and so implement all the functionality I said before with the IoT devices, and in order to track and trace and monitor it, and it can be useful for in this case also for small shipment of wine, oil, as well as luxury, where the company we are cooperating is involved with. Thanks a lot. These one are the credits. I mean, it's me and my shareholder, my right hand Eddie, and there are the contacts. So, I mean, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So thanks a lot, Claudio, and I'm sure that Guido will take the micro as it is open in order to lead the Q&A session. Guido, are you ready?
I'm ready. Yes, we have already already two questions, then I will add also one from my side. So the first one is, which are the risks to introduce a blockchain ledger in a visible supply chain? Which are your point of view on the adoption of technologies as IoT and blockchain toward the supply chain visibility?
What we have seen in Italy, in the humble experience we have, is that blockchain is something that is somehow legal. So when I'm writing on a blockchain, I'm saying, okay, this one is what is happening. So if I'm going to monitor logistics with the IoT, and this logistics information, this IoT information will arrive to blockchain, will be dangerous for the client. So I think that the process, the digitalization process starts with IoT. So IoT means that I'm capable to see what is happening. Then I will be capable to optimize my supply chain, and then I will be capable to share with the clients or with everyone to say, look, maybe I'm costing 1 cent more than the other, but my supply chain is perfect. And I think this one is one important key driver for logistics, especially for the fresh and cold chain. So food, luxury, wine, and so on, because I think that they will provide a better customer satisfaction, thus improving the revenues. I think I answered to the first one. Yes, please, Guido.
The second one is, which are the main benefits of having the supply chain visible? So it's connected to the first question. Only efficiency or something more? Because, and then I can add, is it the right time to introduce this visibility now, or is too early because the customer is not maybe able to catch the advantage, even if it will cost 1 cent more, as you said, please.
The visibility of the supply chain does not mean I know. I mean, the first goal of having the visible supply chain means that when the Amazon courier arrived to my home, I know about him before, and then I can schedule I can understand when he will arrive, and so I can schedule my life in a different manner. Okay. But the most important thing from my side, especially, I mean, I'm speaking about Italy because we are one of the main producers of food and wine and oil. And these goods needs monitoring, because we know a lot of experience that that goods are sent from Italy to Germany or to Belgium or to US, and bottles are broken or bottles are maintained under wrong condition. And sometimes wine bottle can cost 500 euros. It's not so this is luxury, is not only food. So I think that one of the key challenge where the European Commission is investing a lot is the quality of the supply chain. What I mean, security. The best word is security. So security means that I am able to know continuously. I as a stakeholder involved in supply chain, I know what is happening during the supply chain and in real time. And in real time, I'm able to react on it. So react means that why are you leaving my container of bananas under the sun for 10 hours? I mean, I think you have to take some decision somehow in this scenario. So this one is the main point. And is now time, because Europe has seen it as a urgent point. And I've seen a study in Italy that people after COVID are really interested on traceability. Traceability means, of course, how regarding, I mean, it's important to know where the goods are produced and so on, and somehow. But not the most important thing is also to know how these goods are handled. And the technology is ready, and the citizens are ready. And I think that this one is, is one of the main action to promote the SME power in Europe, because this one is the best way to say I'm the best one. We to implement this supply chain secure. For example, we are cooperating with a company in Naples that are doing cold chain, and they want to arrive as soon as possible to have a blockchain ledger to share this data in order to increase the customer satisfaction. And so enlarge its business. Okay, this one is the main point.
So the question is, it's something that we need now and not only in the future.
Yeah.
It's for today, and the requests are already existing from the market. Now we have a free technical question. Maybe you can answer, let's say, shortly. What type of sensorization do you use for the package track system? Is it based on RFID, it seems, or whatever? What else?
No RFID. RFID are very expensive and not so efficient technology for long range communication, because we are speaking about a track. So a track is some meters, so we need a very costly infrastructure is required. At the moment we are using Bluetooth. So we are foreseeing a reusable object, not a disposable object, and equipping the truck, the truck or the wagon or the barge with a tracker. I mean, we have our own, but we can also integrate third parties. We are partner of one of the largest producer of tracker in EU and in the world, and but we are using beacon. But the future is 5G technology. 5G technology enables the connectivity everywhere, because new 5G enables non-terrestrial network and enables services like localization without any support of GNSS. So we can track and trace autonomously each logistic unit. So no RFID, active solution, and we see this one is the most adventuristic, I'm not going to say deep innovation we are doing, and we are finding very good answers from the market. In fact, this collaboration is essentially based on this fact. So autonomous tracking and tracing and monitoring of each logistic unit in a reusable paradigm. Okay. Second one.
The second one is for the truck, for example, do you use other system of tracking?
So, as I said, we are we can integrate. I mean, our solution is designed, supported by the GS1 approach, and so we can implement several services that can zoom in and zoom out things. So we can track trucks or trains or barges or vessels, so doing a sort of fleet management, but we can also go do a zoom in and see what is happening to the goods. This one is our strength, and this one is our value proposition.
Okay, but maybe for the next one you have already answered, or partially, certainly.
Bluetooth and 5G,
Which communication protocol do you use for the IoT connection? Do you use different ones according to the needs by time?
So at the moment we use Bluetooth for local communication and 5G to G to remote communication. Okay, but in the future we will exploit the 5G revolution, I remember that 5G is not a protocol like the one we have used to use in the mobile, but 5G is not to scale up IoT. And so the cost of the transceiver, of the antennas, will decrease a lot. In fact, we are capable to reduce the cost our idea is to have a device that its cost is comparable with a Bluetooth, comparable, not the same, with the Bluetooth beacon. So, but imagine that Bluetooth beacon can communicate at maximum at 100 meters maximum. 5G can communicate from everywhere, also from the middle of the sea, because 5G will integrate satellite communication. So I think it's a different approach.
Okay, my question is the following. NGS was invited as a speaker at the Multimodal and Logistic Conference in Belgrade, in Serbia, some weeks ago. Which are the main points you brought home from potential new business in that area of Europe? So now from the technical to the business part. Do you have new ideas? This is the summary of the question.
So we are very glad to join this meeting, and we find a very nice place there and ready for, for innovation too. The guys are very motivated. And so thanks a lot, Didek Fair and the guys from Belgrade. Yes, we are discussing with them several points. We are starting cooperation already because we see that the zone of Serbia is an agricultural zone, and the idea is to improve what we have done with the rail group in Spain regarding the Cava train, and to use it for food both in cargo and in the last mile logistics. And we are started to cooperate with a fluid association, cooperating as firstly with the European project, and then we have a contact with a logistic provider, and with them in order to implement with them some use cases and to analyze the feasibility of such a solutions.
Okay, so opportunity exists always in fresh goods, but agriculture also is involved, which means that there are some possibilities. Then we have to think how to integrate what is transported by rail with what is transported by barges, and the need of time, because time constraint sometimes is one limit. Red tape, as we have heard previously, the language, all those things may be as are elements that can be used as topics for new development, new common development in order to converge to something at European level. And this is, I think, is interesting of having this kind of webinars with two speakers with two different experiences who are able to bring sometimes elements which are not yet good, but it's a way to show that there are ways to improve the transport of freight, which is so important at European level. I would like, I don't see all the question, but I would like to read the remark from the audience. From my point of view, it is not only a topic of traceability. Another use case will be the sustainability for F&B, machinery, B2B business, and all the other transport goods, to present the correct sustainability report in the annual report by the Big Four. Yes, we have not touched this aspect of sustainability. Maybe, Lutz, we will organize another webinar. I don't know what... it's a good idea for the future in order to have other speakers, maybe based on those of today and adding other elements to have a global view on this freight transport.
Yeah, I think the topic of sustainability become more and more important, and I'm very sure that we will organize such webinars in connection with sustainability, not only for the rail freight transport, but also for other topics. Yeah, thank you again for this interesting presentation and for this interesting Q&A session. And coming back to the actual title of our webinar, is called Latest Development in Railway Multimodal Transport. And now you have the chance to give us a short feedback on this webinar, on the quality of the organization and presentation, as well as we very excited on your suggestions for future topics for next ERCI webinars, or you are already aware that you would be ready to have a presentation by yourself on your innovative solution. So please let us know, and then we will see how to organize a next webinar on your topic. So I'm introducing you with some activities. Certain ERCI clusters or ERCI and itself is are connected with. First, it is the Success Project. It ends by the end of June this year. And one very successful instrument of this Success Project is the Tenders Watch newsletters, which are issued for USA, Norway, and Canada. Because of the goal of the project, it is to support European small, medium-sized enterprises of the rail supply industry in successfully applying to public procurements in USA, Canada, and Norway. So, if you still are interested to receive such Tenders Watch newsletters, I guess in minimum until the end of the project, they will be issued weekly, and please get in contact with Irina or with Garazi or with Amelie. So, yeah, the B2B matchmaking platform coming from the already finished STARS project. It was on how to adopt advanced technologies to processes to improve the processes of small, medium-sized enterprises and to improve their products, services, manufacturing processes, and organization. And we will still use this platform until the end of September 2025. That means 2 years after the end of the project. For sure, we will use it for activities surrounding the Innotrans, and you could use this platform, still use this platform in order to find potential and interesting contacts, potential partners. Look at the platform. Maybe you find one of the profiles interesting, then you should create your profile by yourself and try to get in contact with that participant which is set to the platform. So the next is coming also from the STARS project. It is our YouTube channel. We still use to put in the recordings of the ERCI webinars, and former ERCI webinars are already in this platform or on this platform, and so will it happen also with this recording, with this webinar, maybe at least 1 or 2 days, and then it will be available. Now, coming back to one of the projects, which is the first project, which is coordinated by ERCI as a legal entity by itself. It is the LEADER 2030 project, Learnings for European autonomy to deliver Europe's rail in 2030. The main contact person is Guido, and the main partner is a small project is beside ERCI, the GKZ Freiberg, the Millennium Technology Center, and the Technopark Istanbul. This project is funded by Europe's Rail, and to give you some insights on the project, I will tell you the example for the pencil. If you see a simple pencil that consists of several material coming from all over the world, and 10 countries are, in different countries are involved to provide that material which is necessary to produce a simple pencil. And you can imagine that providing the raw material needed for the railway sector is a much more complex task. So the keywords of that project is European value chains for rail supply, needs for the future, supply constraints, risk of supply availabilities to deliver the EU rail innovations, and strategic options to ensure resilient solutions and autonomy within Europe. And resilient solutions and autonomy are some major keywords which are not only for the railway sector are very important, but for Europe as a whole. So if you see this picture, there are different dependabilities which can cause to gaps of the supply chain for raw materials and components for the railway sector. It could be the climate change, which becomes more and more important. We have the different countries where the raw materials are normally come from Russia, from China, from all over the world, and some of the countries are not quite sure anymore for the moment. So Europe has to think about what mitigation measures they could apply to overcome these risks. So, and that is the task of the LIGA 2030 project to define such mitigation measures in order to ensure the innovation potential of the European rail industry also in the future. So I have to put my mouse on the right slide, and then I could switch to the next one. The consortium is ERCI, and as you learned, and this slide is not quite the current status because PFP is missing for the moment, but we will update the slide very soon. And that means ERCI with its 18 clusters are leading the project. Each cluster gives some contribution. We had a survey that we launched several weeks ago. We made some dissemination through webinars and other possibilities in order to support ERCI as a whole to have a good project result. So then, the major task of the project, the study of the past to identify alerts for the future, is already finished. Now we are in the status of analyzing the demand side and analyzing the supply side, and the next steps of the project are forecasting the actual availabilities, gaps, and bottlenecks, and to deliver a final analysis report and recommendations for Europe. So you find more information on this LIGA 2030 project on the project website, which is directly a subsite of the ERCI website. And we want also to invite you to participate in future European projects there are, for the moment, some calls open of the Horizon Europe Cluster 5. It is on energy, mobility, and climate. For instance, these three topics on optimizing multimodal network and traffic management, scaling up logistic innovations, and improve transport infrastructure performance, which all have certain points which could be dealt with also with the railway transport mode, not only with the others. Normally, we have EU projects financed by the Europe's Rail Joint Undertaking, but also the normal Horizon Europe calls give some chance to involve also railway topics. So the opening date is already gone. The deadline is the 5th September. If you have any idea or might have competencies to answer these three calls, please let us know, your local ERCI cluster, or you can simply write to the contact address that we already shown at the beginning of the webinar, so that we have a good basis, for instance, to bring you together with other interesting contexts or with a consortium that already exists and has some demands to complete the consortium. And the deadline model is a single stage. That means the deadline 5th September, the full proposal has to be submitted. And we have enough time that I can explain what these abbreviations RIA and EA mean. The RIA is the Research and Innovation Action, and the EA is the Innovation Action. It differs on the funding quote of these instruments. For RIA, there is normally a 100% refunding for all non-members of Europe's Rail Joint Undertaking, and for the EA, it's normally for the industry 70% funding rate, and 100% for research and institutions, and that makes the difference. And research and innovation actions are normally at a lower TRL level, technology readiness level, than innovation actions are. So coming to the next slide, that is a call that is still open until the 14th of July. That is coming from the DB Mindbox, which is an accelerator mainly for startups of Deutsche Bahn, and they have defined an open challenge for startups and SMEs dealing with future of railway construction industry. And the keyword of this call are work simplification in the construction industry, from planning to construction site, green construction site and planning processes, employer attractiveness, culture, retention, knowledge, and last but not least, innovative technologies for the construction industry and planning. So, and you are able to apply to this call, and you can simply do this in English because all of the process will be held in English. And there is a link. You can find some more details on that call, and there will you find also the application form. The deadline, as I already mentioned, is the 14th of July. So coming to the next slide, the ERCI webinar, Human Factors in Rail, People and Technology, will take place in 14 days and 2 weeks already. The registration link is already open, and we have some expected topics grabbing from the answers of the feedback questionnaire from former ERCI webinars. That could be on railway international tenders, on monitoring and inspection of rail infrastructure, on cybersecurity, and comparably new suggestions, applications of visual AI in the rail industry, vegetation management of railway tracks, and sustainable waste management of track components. So we are in the planning of setting up new webinar topics. So the last slide is this one. If you're not already done, please do so. You would help ERCI very much by sending your feedback and giving your suggestions for future ERCI webinars. Maybe you are, and I repeat it, you are all also ready to present your innovative solution. Please let us know. And yeah, that is the end of the webinar. We are quite punctually for today. And thank you very much for your attention, and have a nice day, and see you soon. Bye-bye.